Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Suzy Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have a really exciting interview ahead of us about helping women with grief loss in divorce. Today, you'll be meeting Erika NiCole, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who knows firsthand how to constantly pivot to expand and grow her business. Welcome to the show, Erika. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Suzy, for having me. It is such an honor to share the stage with you today.
Oh, I was so excited to meet you. I know we're going to have a great conversation. You know, I can really just tell right away from meeting somebody. And I'm very fortunate to get to meet really interesting people like you from all over the place. I love hearing about midlife entrepreneur stories. We're going to be talking about your business, what's going really well, and what midlife issues might be getting in the way to some extent, a little bit, a little here, a little there, and might be challenging for you in your life as well as being a business owner. So let's start with talking about how old you are, how long you've been an entrepreneur, what your journey was like, what you do. Let's hear all the things.
Okay, so my age, I am 51 years old, and I do a few things. My entrepreneurial journey started out in 2015 part-time. I was still working as a full-time nurse. I've been a nurse 24 years. And so I did some coaching on the side. I was in network marketing, and of course, in network marketing, you're coaching your sales. And I did that. I fell in love with social media. So I launched Virtually Yours, which is a online business provider where we do virtual assistant social media and we book travel because in the network marketing business, I just so happen to be a travel professional. So that kind of was all roped into one. And I started doing a lot of social media management and coaching because I love it. Well, then in 2016, I learned, I got a CPR instructor's license and a few other things under my nursing belt. Well, 2018, while married, I stepped out. May 4th, 2018, I went full time and I began to operate as a nurse educator where I traveled the state of Oklahoma, which is where I'm from, training people how to give medication to those individuals that have physical or developmental disabilities. And doing CPR. So as a freelancer, I launched ESL Enterprises, LLC, and I started doing that. Well, then the roads began to turn. I'm still coaching. I'm still running my network marketing business. And somewhere off in there, I get the kooky idea that I want to write books. So I get in a couple of anthologies. So I'm in about 10 anthologies. I've even did a solo project. And I start speaking. One day I'm on Facebook and I'm doing Facebook Lives. I'm sharing my day-to-day devotionals. This is about 2016. I get an inbox message. I would love for you to come speak at a women's conference. Now I'm a paid speaker. The rest is history. So now I've also launched Wake, Pray, Shine Media, which is where I write, I speak, and my podcast, Speak Life with Erika NiCole, that I launched in 2020, takes place. So I have all of these moving parts and I absolutely love it. I don't think I was living until I did all of this.
Oh, you're making me a little tired, but I'm so excited. How fun to be doing a live and to have somebody watching recognize what you have to offer and then reach out with an opportunity. Were you surprised?
I was stunned, to be honest. I was stunned because I guess in the back of my mind, I thought you had to be something to be a speaker. Not necessarily, because really you just have to have a story, right?
Mm.
And be able to articulate the story. But that's not what I thought in the back of my mind. I always knew I had something to say and I always knew I could captivate the room, right? I knew who I was in that. But I never thought more of it. Well, when Pastor Q connected with me and asked me to come speak, I was blown away. But she gave me my first opportunity. Even while I was doing the lives, because I did lives Monday through Friday for about 3 years, during different devotionals and different conversations. And the people watching me, my audience would say, you need a podcast. You need a podcast. You need a podcast. Well, now I got a podcast.
What's the focus of your podcast?
My podcast talks about faith-driven women, entrepreneurs, lifestyle, and healing. And we just talk about making a difference and muddling our way through it, because life is life for all of us out here, especially middle age. And I recently went through a divorce. And so I've just walked people through life. I interview ladies. I love, love, love to share my platform with different women that are having to faith it through.
Oh, that's so great. Now, I want to get to the divorce in a minute because I love, not that I love divorce, but I do love stories about midlife bumps. But this speaking business is so interesting. So you were a nurse for a long time. When you were a nurse, did you enjoy, I just have a feeling that you must have really enjoyed talking, speaking, communicating with everybody on the floor. I don't know what kind of nursing you did, but you seem to me like a real relationship builder in that kind of job.
In my nursing, I always had a very strong bedside manner. I'm always getting in touch with the patient that I'm taking care of, connecting with the family. As a nurse, I did case management, I did marketing, so I built a lot of relationships. But I came out of the womb talking. Like I came out of the womb. I have always talked. All of my report cards. I'm aging myself, right? Remember, I'm 51.
Yeah,
So
but we like aging ourselves on this podcast.
we were back in our day, the report cards, they wrote on them,
Yeah,
and they would
that's right.
say, Erica's the class clown, Erica talks a lot, Erica has a lot to say. So I've always been this person. Being a nurse, I did a lot of training and I did a lot of educating. So it just kind of came, I guess, natural. And I absolutely love it.
See, that's the thing that, it comes up, and you probably see this in your work too. People are scared of public speaking, and you got criticized for it. Like it was always a problem when you were growing up. It turns out it's a gift. And it was a gift in nursing too. Like listen, when you're a patient, who are the people that connect with you? Thank God for nurses, right? It's just you feel so vulnerable, and to have an opportunity to talk to somebody who enjoys connecting, that's a gift. So it's one of those natural skills that turned into be you were passionate about it. And now it's part of one of the most fulfilling parts of your life, really.
Yes, when I say I love it, I love it. Even in my network marketing, I'm one of the presenters. So whether it's virtual or at a live event, I'm always in front of the room, presenting, hosting, connecting with the people. I absolutely love it.
I can tell. I know this is on Zoom, and as a podcast listener, you can't see Erika, but her face, she's lighting up. She's just lighting up. Okay, so you always knew you could captivate the room. You were criticized for talking your whole life, even out of the womb. I'd love to hear some of those stories. But I know that you are in the business of divorce, and you went through divorce personally. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because there is certainly a thing out there called gray divorce. There are a lot of midlife women getting divorced. So how did it play out for you? What was it like?
You know, I hate to say I saw it coming, but I saw it coming. And I remember we have a gap between our first two daughters and the last one. There's about 6 years, and she was the only one at home, and I could feel the gap. Like I could feel it in the air. And I kept saying, if we don't get to know each other, this is not going to be. We had dealt with some hiccups along the road, being people of faith. We had prayed our way through it. And my mom got sick. Let's go back a little bit. We ended up downsizing. We were empty nesters, 4,000 square foot house. We ended up downsizing October 2018. We moved in with my mom to help her with some financial things. My dad dies December 2018. My mom retires August 2018. So she retires. We sell our house. My dad dies, which my mom and dad are not together. That's a whole nother story. Come around to April, the marriage is in shambles.
Yeah.
We are divorced, living together because he could not, he just could not navigate that move financially at that point.
Mm.
Um, and then my mom takes ill, April 2019. And I remember the pressure of life sitting on me because remember, I just stepped out May 4th, 2018, full-time entrepreneur.
Wow.
Thank God. I did not have to ask anybody for permission to take care of my mom. My mom needed full-time hands-on care, and I was able to be there. April
On the other hand,
2019.
but wasn't that also close to COVID, and you were in the travel business? I bet you were just going to say that. Oh, no.
Luckily, my freelance work, I was able to navigate that and put it on Zoom. Zoom was my platform. I could hold all my classes. So in that realm, I actually saved money because I
Wow.
wasn't, wear and tear on my car and stuff. But I was at home, and home was so stressful.
Wow.
Between me and him, my mom, everything going on, like, you talking about pulling out your hair. I w and I remember one day just asking God, like, "God, something's gotta give. Whatever needs to be exposed to me, whatever decision I need to make, you gotta show me because I can't take this anymore."
Hmm.
So, fast forward a little bit, we get back together, we reconcile, we get back together in November of 2020. We move, my mom gets better, we move, and then we're in our new place, and July 21st, 2021, I wake up to my prayer answered. Everything I needed was right there in my face, and at that point, 6:50 AM in the morning, I said, "This is done. I want a divorce. Are you staying here or am I staying here? Who's staying and who's leaving? I can't do this." And everything that the rumors and all the speculation was like right in my, and
Hmm.
at that point, it was nothing more I could do. So I did see it coming. Navigating it was difficult because I have never lived alone. I went from my mom to being a single mom to being married. So it was always another person. So this place that I'm sitting in is my first solo living situation. And I was scared. I was very scared. I didn't know if I was going to have to go back and get a job. I mean, money was good, but I also had this second income. I also had somebody to bounce things off of. So the money part wasn't an effect. What I missed the most, what part hurt the most was I didn't have my purse. I didn't have my purse. And it really got scary, Susie, when I went back out, right? So after COVID, when I got back out and started traveling, I traveled all around Oklahoma, all in these small towns. And I remember the first day I was leaving to go work with a vendor, I remember sitting in my garage having a panic attack because I was going on the road. And if something to happen to me as a woman, who was I supposed to call? Because I know I didn't have my person. I didn't have my covering. I didn't have my superhero. Who was I? And I remember I almost canceled. And entrepreneur, when we cancel, we're running the numbers. Immediately, no worky, no pay. So I'm running the number. And I remember looking at myself. I pulled that review mirror down and I looked at myself and I said, "Look, girl, you was single before you was married. You got this. God is your covering. God is your protector. Suck it up, buttercup. Let's go make this money. Let's go make it happen." And I had to push on. So now I'm 2 years in and we're still standing.
Wow, Erica, you'll never forget that moment, right? That's
Never.
a powerful moment that you saved yourself.
Never. And
Yeah.
no one was there to save me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and now that I look back, I was used to somebody saving me. My
Mm.
mom, my grandfather, he stood in for my father, and then my husband. I was used to somebody saving me, and in that moment, I had to save my.
Oh, you're a strong cookie.
I don't know if it's strong or resilient. I think
Y yeah, it's resilient for
we
sure.
learn to be resilient because
Mm.
strong is so overrated.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I completely agree with that, and you were resilient. I mean, that was something you needed to overcome, and you did it. You really did do it.
Mm.
So, one thing, you talked about that I thought was interesting is in your notes, your application, you mentioned that because of your age, returning to work wasn't an option. So, you didn't think that, going back to work was an option because of your age. I find that so interesting. I know that there is definitely ageism around, but you really thought that as young as you are? I don't know, I'm a lot older than you. I think you're young.
Absolutely.
Huh.
One, when people look at the resume I built in nursing, I was on both sides, clinical and management. And I built a hefty resume in a short amount of time. So, you can hire younger for a lot less than you can hire.
Ah,
And when
okay.
people look at my resume, they're unsure of if I'm coming to take over, right? Move up the chain, like what I'm going to do. And
Mm.
then, just to be honest, some of these youngins, they cannot supervise. They can't supervise themselves. Not all of them, but some of them. And the work. morale is different.
Yes.
The way they come dressed to work, the way they come dressed to interviews, the way it's different. Even myself being a freelance trainer, when I look at how people come to training, you're at work, you're on the clock, you are representing your job, and this is what you look like. It's
I'm so
it's
glad you mentioned that. I'm thinking to my first big job out of grad school. I had to move to the city of Toronto from a smaller community, driving in by myself, just me and my cat on the highway. I was afraid to drive on the highway. I go to that job interview and I had to borrow money from a friend to have a suit and pantyhose and black patent leather short pumps.
Mhm.
And I even spent, I remember it was $60 with some kind of a really nice leather, I guess not a satchel, like it wasn't a briefcase, but it was like a thin looking envelope looking purse, flat, just enough for a resume and a pad with a strap. So I thought like you're thinking, like that's how we grew up. That was in 1989 for me. And I agree that it's so different now with how people show up, and especially after COVID with everybody working at home and nobody knows what to do anymore when they go back to an office.
idea.
It's so different. But you're right, women of our age, we definitely worked in a more, I think it was more formal.
Mhm.
Things were a little bit more formal.
I totally agree, and with that, most people want me to come in. I'm what they call the cleanup lady in nursing. When I normally go in, I go in to clean up a program. So
Oh,
whatever's going on, I go in to fix it. And so when I go in, I'm very intentional. Well, most programs you cannot fix without fixing the staff. Well, the way I fix the staff is not the way a 30-year-old is gonna fix the staff, because I'm going to address your tardiness. I'm gonna address your lackadaisical attitude towards rules. I'm going to address the fact that you cannot put your cell phone down. Like, I'm going to address some things. Even some of this colored hair needs to be addressed. But that's not, and people don't understand that. I remember when I worked in memory care, and I had one of my residents in memory care started having the outlandish behaviors, and she was really spasming. And she was kept talking to us about a clown coming in her room at night. A clown coming in her room at night. Well, I got a staff member with blue hair. So my client who is already dealing with mental issues, you go in her room with blue hair. You're freaking her out. So this
mm,
is a 96-year-old patient who thinks a lot like us.
mm.
Because you remember back when 96-year-olds came out, nurses were all white. They wore the SAS nursing shoes with the little hat.
Yes, the
And,
little hat. Yeah.
so the times have changed, and
Yeah.
personally, I don't feel like I fit in corporate anymore because
Mm,
I am very old school when it comes to certain things. I
mm,
remember when I first became a nurse, and I have tattoos. I love tattoos. When I first became a nurse, your tattoos could not be,
right.
your facial piercings could not be worn to work, period.
Hmm.
It was no ifs, ands, or buts. If you had sleeves, you better cover everything up. Now, you see everything.
Yeah, you make a point. Things are very different, and sometimes we just have to own it that we do have these views, and we're allowed to have the views. We can. But you make another point that you don't think you could be managed, and I mean that's really something about being an entrepreneur, isn't it?
I think right at this point, I'm unhireable. Because if you told me that I had to be at work every day at a certain time, I have to take lunch at a certain time, break at a certain time. I gotta tell somebody I'm going to the bathroom. I have not done it in so long because even before I was an entrepreneur, I was the management. I was the administrator. I came and went as I pleased. So I don't think I don't know what I would do. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, I know you would fire me. I know you would have to relieve me because I've been out of that box for so long,
Yeah.
and I'm very opinionated. So, yeah, it just wouldn't work.
No, you know who you are.
It would not work. And it's funny because, like, when you look at me, I love piercings, I love tats, yet and still, I understand that sometimes I have to cover some of this up,
Mm,
right? I'm doing a podcast interview with you, my arms are out. If I was in a professional meeting, right, where I'm with the corporate office, depending on where I'm meeting with, I got a suit jacket on. All of this is covered up. And
Yeah.
I think we know how to bob and weave in that. I'm not sure if the newer generations coming up do. I have a 30-year-old daughter, and she just got one of her highest managerial experiences. And we're having these conversations again. We
Mm.
had them before, but now we're having them again because now she's like, "Oh, I got to change the way I dress." Yes. Yes, you do. You got a different office, you got a different title, so you should dress a little bit different. So we have to, we're having those conversations.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me, what are you focusing on now in your business and in your life?
In my life, I am focusing on becoming softer and not being so busy because I'm dating. I'm open. I'm finally open to dating. And in this social media world, it makes us Googleable. So when people are trying to pursue you and it appears that you're always doing something, it looks like you don't have space
Mm.
or a significant other so I'm mindful of that because I've heard that a few times about me. I'm enjoying being a Gigi. I have 3 amazing, young people, Charlie Rose, who is 6, Marley Rain, who is 4, and Kason Royal, who is 1, and I'm loving it. I'm still helping take care of my mom. I just left her house earlier today, and so I'm kinda in that sandwich generation where my kids are young adults, but they still need a little guidance. My mom is doing okay, but every now and again, we still have bad days. And then sometimes I gotta jump in and help, navigate grandkids to where they need to go. So I'm enjoying that space in my personal life. In business, I think I'm scaling, but I think we're always scaling. We're always pivoting and making adjustments. I'm going into my 4th season on my podcast. I'm doing more speaking than ever. Earlier, I was telling you I'm in a big PR push right now, just getting my voice out there. So I'm just really enjoying where I am while where I'm taking it up a little bit.
Picking it up a notch.
Yeah.
And the part that you're focusing on is mostly that one aspect of those businesses you mentioned, the speaking.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
I love, love, love to speak. And the beauty of it all is that every business I have, I get to speak. So
Yes.
it helps. And I absolutely love
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so I know someplace in your notes here that you mentioned dealing with health issues. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because when we are running the show, it can be really challenging. So how's that showing up for you?
Whew. It, it makes me rest, it makes me rest. I got sick right at the end of my corporate, America, uh, career about 2014. I got diagnosed with a autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's hyperthyroidism and adrenal. Those come on from stress, the marriage, kids, life, like everything, stress. My mom got diagnosed in 2014. So with my mom and her health, it just all played a part.
Mm.
Remember sitting at my desk and I could not speak and I could not see, but I could hear and I could move.
Oh my
And
god.
by the time I got diagnosed, my thyroid was not moving. So it took me a while to balance things out. Now the biggest part is knowing when to rest, knowing when to pull back. So I think for me, being an entrepreneur, the beauty of it all is I run the show. If
Yeah,
I feel like doing something at 6 a.m., I don't have to. If I feel like doing it at 6, I do it. Or if I work 2 hours here, 2 hours here, 2 hours here, I run the show and it works for me. I
that's
tell people all
great.
the time, I look really busy, but sometimes I'm just sitting over there on the couch with my feet kicked up, sipping on tea and reading a book because I'm resting.
Well, so you did say that it makes you rest. So I'm wondering, so many of us have trouble going to bed on time and we have trouble putting ourselves first and we have trouble creating a schedule that actually works for our real life, not what we think our life should be. So with sleep, do those issues come up for you or are you pretty good at it now that you're good at sensing you're laughing. You're good at sensing physically when you're tired, or how does that work? Because I know with me, I feel the tiredness, and a lot of times I'm like, "Well, you can manage that."
I know my natural cadence. So my natural cadence is I'm a morning person. I can save the world in the morning. Not so much a night person. I am not a pull a all-nighter kind of girl. I am not I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of girl. When I'm tired, I'm tired. And if I can turn it off, if no one's depending on me, It's done. I
Okay.
shut it down. Most nights, I am in my bed between 9:30 and 10. Am I asleep? No, but I am positioning to sleep.
Right.
I have sprayed my pillows with my spray. I have my book. I've taken my night medicines, and I am relaxing.
That's
My phone
great.
on do not disturb at 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 PM, and it comes back on at 7:30 in the morning. I am very intentional about that, and that's because being in my 50s, right? I'm dealing with menopause. I'm dealing with Hashimoto's, and both of those affect your sleep. Both of those affect your rest. And so it's very important to me to listen to my body because if I don't listen, I could end up down for a really, really long time. So
Mm,
it makes me, which is probably for the better because I'm
yeah.
normally an energizer bunny, where I'm just constantly going and burning at both ends.
Well, that's why I asked because I'm really feeling your energy and you have a ton of energy. So for you not to have energy and to listen to that and to really lean into rest, I was very curious if you were able to do that.
I I have no choice. If don't listen, it could be the difference between walking and not walking.
Oh
For
my gosh.
me, that not being able to get out of bed. So I'm very, very, very mindful of me, and because I do give my all, this energy, this I get up like this. This is what
Yeah.
I give no matter what I'm doing. So I have to know when to dial it. I
You're
have
talking and moving from the minute you wake up, it
to,
sounds like.
so I have to know when
Ah,
to save
yeah.
something.
Yeah, that's so good. So I know when you think about your career, you really were at the top. You had a lot of achievements in nursing, and then you started all these businesses. Well, for network marketing, you'd been doing that for a little while, but really you did a lot of things basically starting over. What was it like for you to be a beginner when you had so much experience?
It was hard, extremely hard, because as you know, as a podcaster, you don't know what you don't know.
That is true.
You don't know what you don't know. You're always learning. You're learning on the go. And for me, I did even in network marketing, I was not, in network marketing, they say you have to be coachable. I wasn't coachable. Like, like, what do you mean? I've been managing people for this many years. So you couldn't tell me anything. So
Yeah.
I've had to do a lot of personal development and I had to be okay with pouring a little of me out so other people could pour into me so I
Mhm.
could learn. I'm still learning. Being an entrepreneur, period, is corrections and adjustments every day. Every day.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. It's still not easy.
Just
It's
when we hopped on the call, my mic wasn't working, and I'm like, "Ugh." And I used to panic. If I had a tech problem like that, I would start to sweat. I would
Mhm.
absolutely be so like, shaking. And now, I really do believe that I can figure it out, but I don't know the answer now, and it's okay, and I'm just gonna calm down, and if you need to wait a minute, you're gonna be fine too. Like, I get it now. But, I think it really is interesting to go from being very successful with a ton of achievements, to being a beginner, and you've become a beginner in so many parts of these businesses. Well, you're not a beginner anymore, but there really is something about the mindset we're in as entrepreneurs as we embrace it. It's okay.
But I think in every stage of it, you're a beginner.
Yeah,
When I first started out, the first time I spoke, I think I spoke in front of, and I kind of jumped out there. So the first time, maybe it was 150, but every time I add a person to that, I'm a beginner.
it's true.
Every new episode, we don't know if these episodes are going to fly or flop. We're a beginner, so I think it's just kind of one of those things.
Mm,
To
yeah.
you, I would get so stressed out when something didn't go the way I thought it was supposed to go. And now being an entrepreneur, it's better done than perfect. So now
Yeah.
if it's done, it's done. And I don't
I
even,
I believe that to the core. It's so true. All right, Erica, you're awesome. How can people get in touch with you?
I'm very easy. And I used to do social media and I tell my clients all the same thing. Be the same thing everywhere you are. So I am Erika Speaks Life. That is Erica with the K, no C, everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. My podcast is Speak Life with Erika NiCole. It's on all the podcast platforms. And I'm Speak Life with Erika NiCole on YouTube. So I'm the same everywhere.
Amazing. All right. Erica, thank you so much for taking the time from your day to share all of this. You're so authentic Your energy is infectious and you're just accomplishing so much. I really appreciate just how you're really showing up. You're helping divorced women. You're helping, even while you're an empty nester, you're coping with all of that. And the sandwich generation is a constant changing part of our lives. So thank you so much for loving what you do and doing such amazing work.
Thank you for having me. This has been amazing.
So that is it for now. If you are listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle who's over 50 and an entrepreneur and would like to come on the show, please go to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It is never too late for you to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Suzy Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick, before we say goodbye, if you're connecting with this show because midlife challenges are also making it harder for you to run your business and your life the way you want to, I am thrilled we've connected here. If you're just not as happy and fulfilled as you'd hoped you'd be, I want to invite you to apply for the Women in the Middle Academy. It's my 12-month midlife coaching program and community where you'll have fun creating your path to getting unstuck, gaining clarity, and stepping into the life you've always wanted. If you're ready to stop waiting and start living, then the Women in the Middle Academy is where you are meant to be. Head over to www.womeninthemiddleacademy.com. Talk soon.